I have a new friend on Facebook. This friend is an Israeli, um, obviously Jewish, and posts several things every day that are very um, pro-Jewish, pro-Israel, uh, and very divisive in that sense. And I wonder if, and they don't seem to understand some of the basic sentiments that were taught in the Jewish tradition, such as the Ten Commandments, the idea of the um, second of the Ten Commandments that have no idols. And if you go back to Moses' time, before he came up with that idea, you could see that people were practicing all sorts of, had all sorts of idols and ideas of for their gods. I mean, golden bull calves or a rooster or whatever happened to be. And the various the 12 tribes would maybe select one, and then they would get in conflicts with one another over what they were thinking was the proper the true god. Was it the golden bull calf, or was it the rooster, or the goat, or whatever? Which one was a proper form? And they would have all these conflicts over that. So Moses came up with that idea that okay, that there had to have no idols. We can't do that. And of course, people were hard to give that up, which is why he finally decided that after they were still practicing worshiping their idols, he called together those who didn't agree with him, that did agree with him, and had them slaughter the people that didn't agree with him. 3,000 men, women, children of his own people, of of the 12 tribes of Israel, were slaughtered at that time. And that's a hard way to teach people a lesson. But it seems that people really haven't learned that lesson, because we still today see people finding ways to divide themselves and picking their ideologies and ideas. You rarely hear about somebody who's, say, Jewish and identifying themselves as one of the different 12 tribes. And I don't remember all the 12 tribes. I just remember Levi's was one of the tribes. But you rarely hear that. And of course, the people have integrated so much that there really is no different 12 tribes. So I think about this new friend and how hard their heart is about the identity they have of being Jewish and Israeli. And they hate anybody that seems to be different from them. There's just so much animosity, so much conflicts in their lives. And these people, these Jews, and it's not just Jews, it's Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, Democrats, Republicans, whites, blacks, males, females. Any time a person identifies in a way that separates them from others, they're going to create conflict for themselves. And that's what the essence of this lesson is, the not practicing idolatry, is to not identify with any of these things, these different forms. And I think of the lesson that the great Jewish rabbi prophet named Jesus, who was the Christians play lip service to, he was encouraging people to stop identifying with the flesh and instead identifying as spirit or God, and that we're all one with each other, that we're all part of God, and that when you identify as God, you come to serve and not be served. Instead of identifying with the flesh or that which you're born of and who your mother and your father is and whatever culture you live in, whichever religion you were indoctrinated into, instead identify as that which is one with all beings, as spirit or consciousness or God, whatever term you want to use. This way of thinking is much healthier than the way that Christians and Jews and Muslims and Buddhists and Hindus and Democrats and Republicans and whites and blacks and Chinese and Russians, and doesn't matter what your various identity is, when you identify as something that is separate from others, you're going to create conflicts, and that's not healthy. So I'm saying this to that new Jewish Israeli friend, but I'm also saying it to anybody else who has ears to hear, that those ways of thinking aren't healthy for you, and that smart people drop their identities of being Jewish or Christian or Muslim or Buddhist or Hindus or Democrats, Republican or white or black, or male or female. They drop thinking that way, and they start identifying with that which includes everything else or everybody else, such as spirit or consciousness or God or whatever you want to use, term you want to use. That's a much healthier, holier way of thinking, a wiser way of thinking.